Welcome to the Buck and Mike Experience.
Experience sports like you never have before.
Where the buck stops.
And the mic drops.
Bam. Christmas edition.
Christmas edition.
Yeah, see? Ugly Christmas sweaters. Yeah, we did it. We're here. So, well, as we get into it, I guess the first question is going to be of the night. Looking forward to your holidays? Fun plans with the family, I'm guessing?
I'm dressing up as the Grinch again. I'm also going up to Sport Clips as the Grinch this coming weekend to scare some kids and also give them some sour candy canes.
Well, all right.
So that'll be fun.
Good. So you're doing that Saturday, you said?
Yeah, Saturday.
Cool.
Doing that Saturday. Hopefully I don't get any emergency calls because I'll be on the call. And then at my family Christmas, I'll be doing the same thing, dressing up as a Grinch and being a lot crazier.
Yeah. See, I just realized today that the calendar fell that Christmas Eve was on New Year's, or was on Sunday, which means that, and this is the first year that I'm hosting my family for Christmas, which means that I can run Red Zone all day while I host Christmas. It's going to be like a normal Sunday for me, just with the annoyance. So, no, yeah. Yeah, we've got Christmas Eve at the in-laws, Christmas Day at my house, or here, or Christmas Eve here, then to her mom's house on Monday for actual Christmas Day. And then, yeah, that's our rock and roll. It's the same system every year. We kind of keep it low-key. But, yeah, that's my highlight is this is the first year that I'm hosting Christmas with the parents moving all the way out there and having a smaller house. It made sense. Live closer, so... But yeah, other than that, it'll be more eventful than Thanksgiving was.
Test it. I was looking for that.
So, that said, where do you want to start? Not a ton. I know mostly NFL we'll talk, but we can. You want to? Actually, you know what? I'll go off the rails here. We'll go completely not sports related to start and go that we officially now know the Jonathan Majors news.
Yes.
This is worth talking about. It is. If you haven't heard, you're not going to hear it from us. You'll have heard it somewhere before you hear it from us, but Jonathan Majors is out.
He's done.
How do you want them to approach the pivot? Because we know they're not above recasting. They recasted in the second Iron Man.
Yeah, and they just kind of acted like nothing happened.
And it honestly worked for me. I didn't even realize it until years later where I went, oh shit,
really?
That's a totally different person. Like I should pay attention close enough.
So, no, I mean, if you've watched Loki, they didn't really set it up, but they did.
Yes.
Like they threw a little bit in there just enough to where you can actually just be able to pivot in a way that it's going to make sense.
Yeah.
And even in Quantumania, like you can go back to that and do something to where it's all these variants are of this one, but the real Kang is someone else.
Yeah.
Like they can easily do that and pivot that way to where you're like, oh. Or they could start throwing in other variants of Kang that are different people. That way, once you get to the real one, you're like, oh, that's who the real one is?
That would make sense too. We were floating the idea of different actors that we think could, like, if they did decide to stay the course and they just wanted to try to get someone that, you know, similar build and kind of look. Mm-hmm. We were talking about one of the names that came up a couple times was John Boyega, the guy.
John Boyega?
That he could similar build about him.
He doesn't want to do big films anymore. He's all about small films now.
Oh, is he? Oh,
yeah,
well,
then he's already said that he doesn't want to go in Disney. Like, so he's done.
Experience in Star Wars, I guess. So then, yeah, that was just the name that came. But yeah, it'll be interesting how they approach it. I think they even did a way. We've seen them do some of them post-credit scenes that never amounted to anything anyway. Like, mm-hmm. There have been plenty of wasted in credit scenes that we stayed for. I mean, honestly, the way Loki wraps up, if you haven't watched it yet, it's kind of your fault, but I might give it away. There's a way where you could literally see where that was them tying the knot and just move on. Like,
yes.
And then if you're going to do that, then you could go ahead and take a different approach to like how you're going to introduce the X-Men and things like that. Obviously we've seen an introduction to them. I wouldn't be opposed to the ideas if they did like, maybe not necessarily prequels, but like movies of the symbol that are basically in the same timeline that kind of show how they link to the story.
Nah,
that would be
they're
fun
They're gonna do that through Deadpool.
They'll just link it all in that way.
Deadpool is gonna have that's the reason why we're gonna have a bunch of variants of Wolverine in that.
So many.
So they're going to use Deadpool basically as their base to bring in X-Men.
Kind of like what the Flash was supposed to do for fixing DC. Kind of. That's
Yeah.
kind of how that was supposed to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Him reversing stuff and
Yeah.
changing everything. Like, this is... And they could also use Deadpool in the same way that we're talking about and bring in the new Kang.
Also
Like,
true.
that way. You can go, okay, that makes sense. All right. Like, so there's a lot that they can do, especially with what's coming up. And I know Deadpool got pushed back a little bit, so that could be a possibility that they're trying to refilm something to
Adjust
add
it
something
according
in
to
there.
pivot the story. That would be, that would make sense.
Or just something at the very end. Like, so.
Awesome. Also true. I also had when we were talking about the introduction of X-Men, it was fun. Yeah, you've seen them. Have you seen the Marvels yet?
No.
So I can't tell you the end credit scene then.
Nope. You
Man.
cannot. Because I have not seen that.
I can't tell you. 'Cause
I'll watch it once
go.
it comes to Disney Plus, but I'm not going to go see that.
All right. Well, I'll say the end credit scene is really cool, and the drop that comes in is pretty fun. I'll bring that nugget back when we get there at X-Men and things.
What is let's see. Aside from that, you got Percy Jackson.
It's tonight. I was supposed to.
What actually came out yesterday?
Okay, no,
So
yesterday.
it came out early.
Today.
It came out early.
Oh,
but
we could have
it's out
watched it
today.
yesterday.
Yeah, it's out today, so if you want to watch it, you can watch it.
Yeah, we're gonna watch it with the
And
roommates.
then Rebel Moon comes out tomorrow,
What is that?
which is Zack Snyder's kind of his version of Star Wars.
Okay.
It's going to be on Netflix.
Interesting.
It got some really terrible critic reviews. Rotten Tomatoes had it like
I was
a
gonna
30
say,
something.
Netflix
And
has
then
tried this stuff before where they
Oh.
took another style, like they took
The
they
audience
did
score for
Jupiter's
this was like a
Legacy.
90 something. So like critics, this is what I found out.
So it's gonna be
If
Jupiter's
you look
Legacy all over
if you
again.
look at Zack Snyder and everything that he's done, critics hate what he does,
So maybe
but
you just said
audiences love him.
Oh yeah. So it reminds me a lot of what they did with Jupiter's Legacy then, which was kind of like supposed to be the Amazon show, The Boys, basically.
Yeah.
I fucking loved
Yeah,
Jupiter.
I did too.
That one season, I was so hyped, and they were like, "It's overdone." I was like, "What the fuck?" Like that was a real kick in the nuts.
Yeah. I was really excited for that. I don't remember what all went on to that. I know it was way over budget. So
I did
might
hear
have
that
been-
it was extremely expensive to make, but I mean, golly, that still sucked. It
Yeah,
was so
yeah.
good.
That almost kind of makes me want to go back and watch that because that was a good show.
Yeah, but it leaves you on. It's one of those ones though that it cliffhung because they thought we were gonna have a second season.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't know that I could ever watch the season again because I don't want to remember why I'm pissed that I can't finish it. You know, like I'm glad I've forgotten at this point.
Like, and you can't hope another network picks it up because Netflix is just the one that picks up those that get canceled.
Yeah, exactly. Netflix is usually the one that like we take. Literally, Netflix has become the king of taking shows that had good runs somewhere else that didn't get to end right, and then just bow tying their ending. Like they ended Lucifer for me.
Yeah.
I needed that. I love
Yeah.
Lucifer. It needed an ending.
They ended Lucifer. They ended Designated Survivor.
That's right. They did end Designated Survivor.
That was one of my favorite shows when it was on. When it got canceled, I was mad. And
That's
then,
how
and
I
then
got.
they finished it.
There's been so many of them that just genuinely just pissed me off when their show ended. You're just,
Yeah,
Why? Are
yeah.
Why? It's so good.
Like there was one years ago. I forgot, and this is going to suck because I forgot what it was called. But it was a biblical show, but it was like a realistic biblical show where they didn't hold back on like what actually kind of happened during those times.
Yeah, like they
Like, it
gave
was
you the nitty.
based in that time.
Okay.
But it was a little bit darker.
Nice.
Like it made you feel like you were actually watching something that was more time period legit than
Okay.
just being, back in this time, they were nice, and sometimes, they had to kill someone. But no, it was like a dark kind of show. It had one episode because people were so up in a roar that it was a biblical show that took to make it more legit
Oh
than
my
just
gosh.
what you're reading. And people were mad, and so they had to cancel after one episode. And I was like,
terrible.
that episode was awesome.
It was such a good one
And
episode.
then there was a remake of, I think it was called The Emerald City.
Okay.
It had like one season, and, it's the Emerald City, Yellow Brick Road.
Yeah, that's exactly where I
What
thought.
am I?
We're off to see the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, there
Wizard
you
of
go.
Oz.
Wizard of
I
Oz.
just
Man, I
hit the
couldn't think
song
of
to
the
get
name
to it.
But it had like one season, and like it had a different take on some of the characters. Like the Tin Man was the guy that you like, the actor that we were talking about, Neil McDonough.
Okay.
So
Yes,
he was the
alright,
Tin
yes.
Man. A Tin Man is a cop. Like, that's what they used to be called, is a cop, as a Tin Man.
Oh, okay.
Because of the tin
on their
badge.
That makes sense, yeah.
So that was what he was. He was the Tin Man, and he was the cop.
You can watch that show.
And like they had the Scarecrow, they had the Cowardly Lion, they had Dorothy, but it was kind of like a steampunk type of twist to it.
Okay.
Like, it was good. And then they were like, the first season didn't grab because they put it on like a Saturday, so they canceled it. And I was like, why would you put it on a Saturday?
Makes me want to go back and like look for the list of shows that didn't get enough run.
Yeah.
Like
it was, and I enjoyed it so much. I was like, man, why would you cancel it? This was so good. I don't remember if it was called the Emerald City. It might have been the Emerald City, but I know it had Neil McDonough in it. I know that for sure. But I was really sad when that one got canceled. I thought it was going to be one of those that stuck around because, it was a retelling of the Wizard of Oz, and everyone loves the Wizard of Oz. But apparently,
absolutely. I love any kind of way that stuff. Like anytime you retell like the Wizard of Oz. I love reading. You can tell me the story of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round 5,000 times, and I'm gonna watch it every time. Like Merlin the Magician. Like this show Merlin. Have you ever watched that one? It's a London. I swear I've watched it through and through 4 times. Like I
really
absolutely love that show. There's a ton of them though like that where you're I'm trying to think of all of them that you're just where did it go? Oh, but no. That said, we are we've been super powering through Yellowstone. We're over halfway through season 4 already. We're definitely ready for the next season that has to come out. That's a huge bummer that it's going to come. And then I decided to torture myself and rewatch Game of Thrones just so I can see the bad ending one more time. But the journey to get there.
Just stop at season 7.
The journey I keep telling, I told my wife, she was like, it ruins all of it. And I was like, does it though? Because in all honesty, like, it's one of the best journeys you're ever going to go on. So, you're trying to find the name of the show?
Yes.
That show that you said, the way that one describes it reminds me of, I don't know if you probably know the name. You remember the show they did, Once Upon a Time?
Yeah.
I loved that one.
Yeah, that was a good show.
It was a really cool show where they did the spins of all the different characters into real life with Rumpelstiltskin. That dude was awesome.
Yes. I want to be honest. Prince Charming, hated him. I don't like him as an actor.
Okay.
I can't stand his voice. And every time I hear him, I'm just like, he in Manifest. The reason why I stopped watching Manifest was because of him. Like, I just can't stand his voice. Like,
that's hilarious. I like
always him. Like, every time he would talk, I'm like, dude, just go to someone else, please.
Just stop. No more Prince Charming. No, that's hilarious. I'm trying to. You still haven't found it yet, have you?
Oh well, actually, it didn't star Neil McDonough. That was the TV series Tin Man, which was a reinterpretation of The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, here's one. Did you ever see the one season that they did called Pitch? With the chick that was going to pitch?
Yes! One that had Saved by the Bell dude.
Yes! One good season.
Yeah. I thought it was really good.
I was like, yes! Gone. Never got to see another season of it. Now that I found this list of movies, some of them shows I've never heard of. We got Run. Angel. I've heard great things of Angel.
Oh, I loved Angel, man.
I knew Angel. I know the guy from Angel.
Buffy?
I know from Bones.
Yeah, David Boreanaz.
Yeah.
So, he started on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is where Angel came from.
And they spun it into, I've heard amazing things about it. I've just never seen it.
So,
let's see.
2017. They had one season, Emerald City.
Yeah, there you go. He's even had the name right. My Name is Earl keeps coming up. Did that have a really bad ending, I guess?
No. Oh, that's who it was. It was Vincent D'Onofrio that was in it.
Oh, see? Actor name drop.
That's who it was that, and it had, he was basically the biggest one, and I think he was, the wizard.
I guess the other tie-up to things that are going to have no purpose and bad endings, though, would be the fact that the Aquaman movie comes out in a couple days, too.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, sad because he's amazing. Like, I love anything that he's in. Like, Momoa never's let me down. Dude is fantastic as an actor. Good guy, bad guy. hardcore bad A, like the range of what he was in Game of Thrones from what he is to Fast and the Furious, and how like two humongously different gaps of acting. Absolutely love the guy. So I will go watch it for him, knowing that I don't care that it wastes my time and means nothing to any storyline.
Now I can't think of it, but he was in a TV show, Stargate Atlantis. You ever seen that one?
Is it a spinoff of the original Stargate? Yes. Okay, I've never seen it, but I was just curious.
I've seen the movie. I've seen I've seen the original Stargate, and I've seen like all 4 spinoffs of it.
Okay,
there are different spinoffs, but Stargate Atlantis has Jason Momoa in it.
Huh.
And that was the first one I ever seen, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." I was like, "He looks familiar." And then, like a couple years later, Game of Thrones, and I'm like, "Hey, that's a dude from Stargate Atlantis."
So that means, see, the oldest thing I can date him back to that I've seen would have been Game of Thrones. So now you're telling me that there's the first.
Oh yeah,
this farther back.
I think there was one other thing that he did before Stargate Atlantis, but Stargate Atlantis was basically what kind of put him on the map to
getting into
roles.
Bigger opportunities. Yeah. Okay, well, no matter how it goes, I hope he's successful and kills it. The other guy that I quite love that's been in the headlines lately would be Alan Rich, the guy that plays Reacher.
Oh yeah.
Because the whispers that he
tomorrow.
Could be. Yeah, that is tomorrow.
And
he could be the whispers that they want him to be a Batman.
Well,
possibly.
he wants to be Batman.
He wants to be a Batman. And I don't know. I think he could totally play the Playboy side of things. All he's got to do is channel his Thad Castle, and he could just, he could be it.
So, cool thing, I just saw an interview with him. He was a late bloomer in high school. He was not that big until he was, or not that big, but he wasn't big at all until his senior year when he finally, he was lifting weights all the time and just working out, and then finally his senior year, his body just bloomed with the fact that he was working out. And the football coach was like, "Hey, you got to come play for us." He's like, "Dude, I don't know anything about football. Like, I was a scrawny little kid. I didn't know any of that, so I didn't play it."
You know he was on American Idol?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I saw the video of him singing Paula. That's the only reason I knew that.
And, it was really fascinating to hear him talk about, and he was 100% legit.
And then he played a linebacker.
Yeah. He was 100% legit with everything up until this season 2. And so in season 1, he was jacked from him working out. That was the way he worked out.
Yeah.
After season 1, he ended up having surgery on his shoulder, on his back, and some other stuff. And it was from just the constant working out that he was doing.
Yeah.
And he finally went, whenever he was having surgery, they found out that he had low testosterone.
Oh.
And so they were like, we'll get you on some testosterone to get, your testosterone back up. And he said since he's done that, he's had more energy. He's just a different person. He goes, now the working out is a lot easier, so I built a lot more muscle. And he's like, I just want people to understand, I did all this before I ever took that.
Well, and
this
that's
gave me an extra 20 pounds of more muscle.
Yeah,
that's why I look so much bigger in this season 2.
It's a totally different. It's not steroids. This testosterone. This is. I do this stuff. This is just get to function like a normal man. So I'm good for him though. He's another one of those guys that he's done some pretty ranges of acting, and so
Thad Castle is going to be the most. Other than Reacher now, but Thad Castle is going to be the most legendary role.
He's probably my second favorite TV linebacker of all time, behind Waterboy.
So he would be your first.
Well,
he would be your favorite.
Video, TV, movie, fictional linebacker.
Okay.
I would say that. Different. Better wording. I'd take my
TV,
second.
He's your number 1.
Yeah, he'd probably be my second favorite one. And then right behind him would be, wasn't Goldberg a linebacker when he was playing for the prison team?
Oh, yeah. There were,
with the big X on his jersey on the longest yard?
Longest yard.
Yeah. So he would.
Oh, you know what? No. He was defensive lineman.
Oh, see, then I can keep my task.
Steve Austin was a linebacker.
That's right. No, wait.
Yeah.
They were both in it?
Yeah.
Oh, God, they look so much alike. I guess they're the same person. So. All right. Well,
Steve Austin's the one who, that's how a white boy hits.
Well, all right. That makes sense. on the
and then Goldberg was the one with the big weenie.
That's right, because they had to give him the special cup.
Yeah.
So then on the topic of white boys, and since white boy topics have been a controversy of the NFL, I'll slide in the NFL with that. Who's playing corner for your all white boy team? Because apparently we don't have any of those.
Well, according to Will Compton, we can take the mixed guys. So we have a couple.
Ooh, and one of the things on the Pat McAfee show, the black guy that's on their show, he actually said they get the Asians though, so they can have a kicker.
So
they
didn't
have a kicker yet. They needed to get Younghoe Koo to balance the scales.
Okay, that makes sense.
I mean,
that makes sense.
The funny debate there was a debate that had started on before Mendenhall said this. The Kelsey brothers had a debate on if you took all the linemen and versus just the 11 best skill players, who would win. And Kelsey was like, we would just run the ball up the field. Y'all are never going to tackle. Like, we'll get the fastest offensive tackle, and he'll be our running back. And y'all are never going to tackle him. And Kelsey's like, but y'all are never going to catch us. We're just going to throw bombs the whole day. And so that was literally the day before. And then, like, 2 days later, Rashard Mendenhall comes out with this white boy, black guy team Pro Bowl thing. I mean, as if there's not enough problems in the world to add those to it.
Let's just separate it even more.
Yeah, let's make it even worse. But no,
But Will Compton did make it funny, so.
Oh, a lot of them were. I'll say they did.
The fact that he made it
a lot of guys made some really funny laughs about it. Like, they were saying, like, when they would name off position groups, they're like, quarterback. That's a split. Like, it's a. But then one of them goes, y'all screwed on head coach. And the guy goes, y'all just started hiring us. And then they were talking running back. They gave running back a tie because McCaffrey's that much better than the next guy. But everyone down is still a black guy. And then so that was fun.
The next white running back?
The next white running back down would be, was it Rex Burkhead?
I mean,
I'm trying to think of.
I mean, if we get the mixed one, you can say Chuba.
Oh, you're saying mixed as in mixed with white and black guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess Chuba Hubbard would be. So we're in the. Well, that's the top 20. No, that's probably top 30. So that's fun laugh. They did give us the tight end position. We run away with the offensive linemen. They said basically balanced. Defensive linemen, they gave pass rushers the edge to the white guys though.
Because of the Bosas.
Because of the Bosas and the Watts and they were like, we have. They said like they had Micahs and all that stuff, but they were like, we got the Watt brothers. Even though JJ doesn't play. That was funny. JJ Watt was resharing it on Twitter, commenting names of laughs and stuff. So, but with that said, we'll get into the wildness of the season. What another adventurous week of nobody wants to win and everybody wants to win.
Hey, we went into this last week talking about Arthur Smith.
Yes.
And the fact that he was kind of not on the hot seat, but it depended on how the rest of the season fell. Game 1, he loses.
Not an hour before that game, he texts me and goes, God, I hope the Falcons lose to the fucking
Panthers.
And sure enough, the Panthers win. Did you see the great stat on the Panthers, though?
No, I didn't.
The Panthers have not led for a single second in the fourth quarter of a game, and yet they've won 2 games on comebacks in the fourth. Because both times that they've won, it was on a kick that the clock was already expired.
Wow.
And so they have 2 wins, but have not led a single second in the fourth quarter of a game this season.
So, I saw something today, and the only reason, I really wanted to start with that one just because I hate Arthur Smith, and I hope he gets fired. They've got... the rest of their schedule is not very easy.
No, they have the hardest schedule of their division.
They might have 1 win in it.
Yeah.
And that's the Bears.
I was going to say, and I don't give them that one. I think the Bears beat them.
Because they got the Colts,
I have them losing out.
And
they play the Colts, the Bears, and then they have the Saints at the Superdome. But the Saints at the Superdome damn well might be for the division title.
Yeah.
Like, depending on how the Saints play out.
Like, I was just like... Oh, I jumped up. I was so happy when they lost.
Yeah, that was a huge loss. Like, that was... Like, I got mad when the Dolphins lost to the Titans because I was like, our season's going to be over because of that. But that could really have wrecked their season.
Yeah.
Because of what they have coming up. Like, you had to beat Carolina to have a shot at going 8-9 and winning the division.
So now you're looking at a top 15 pick again. And they're probably going to use it on someone that, according to a video I just heard, against the Panthers... Out of 51 total offensive plays, a third of them either went to Bijan, Kyle Pitts, or Drake London.
And yet Bijan still played.
And those were
terrible.
Top 15 picks. Three top 15 picks. A third of their offensive plays went to
that's
those
it.
3 people.
Only the 33% went to those 3.
A third.
That's not even enough. It should be higher.
For 3 top 15 picks.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying the percentage of snap share needs to be higher.
How Arthur Smith still has a job?
I have no clue.
Makes no sense. Now I will say, so this is another thing I heard, and this is something that I'm going to adjust to, is Arthur Smith does not like to run Bijan against defenses that run their base defense more than their other defenses. Okay. So if a defense runs heavy on their base, he does not like Bijan running against them. So he uses Tyler Algier.
So what do I need to worry about this
Carolina,
weekend? I got to worry about that.
You're not going to have to worry about it this week.
Okay.
But Carolina uses their base defense like 70% of the time.
That's because it's bad no matter what. Yeah. So stay simple.
And then on top of that, you use your base defense more than anyone. Then it's bad weather.
Oh, it was awful.
So
why you should have ran
that was like, I wish I had known this prior because I wouldn't have started Bijan. But now that I know, I can pay attention and listen to go, oh, they do that? Okay, no, he's on the bench. Yeah. So that was why Algier got more touches than Bijan did. Even though Bijan fumbled, it was more because he just doesn't want him facing those base defenses. I don't know why.
It's the stupidest thing.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I
but
feel like
he
he's giving
like
us excuses for why not to get the ball to good players.
Yeah.
Like, well, we couldn't get the ball to Kyle Pitts because of this reason. We couldn't get the ball to Drake London because Jonnu Smith had no problem getting the damn ball at the start of this season. But we couldn't get the ball to Kyle Pitts and Drake London and Bijan. So, no, he's an idiot. He's got to go. With the adventures of him, we've talked about the rest of their schedule. That is one of the tightest races in division football right now. On the fun note of the NFC, before we dive into this awful division, you know there's only 4 teams in the NFC over 500? 4. Your Super Bowl favorite, San Francisco 49ers, the Cowboys and the Eagles, who are tied for first in their division, and the Lions. Everyone else is 500 or worse.
Jesus.
The winner of the... So, when you talk about it like that, you don't feel as bad about the fact that a possible below 500 team might host the home playoff game, because they all suck. So, so that said,
Jesus.
Tampa's 7-7, New Orleans is 7-7, Atlanta's 6-8. Who you got winning it?
I'm gonna have to go with I'm gonna have to go with Tampa.
That's me too. I ran Tampa. Tampa has Jacksonville this week, the Saints next week at home, and then they play the Carolina Panthers on the road. I figured they could take 2 out of 3. That puts them at 9-8. The Saints have the Rams in LA. I think the Rams are going to win that football game. Rams have played good this season. Significantly better than we expected, and they're healthy. Exactly. Hey, Kyron Williams would be having the exact same numbers right now, maybe not the touchdowns, as Christian McCaffrey if he didn't miss 4 games.
Yep.
Because right now he's like 3rd in the league in rushing. He's only like 400 yards behind McCaffrey, and he missed 4 games. Like, that kid is a monster.
And he was drafted in the 5th round from Notre Dame.
Yeah. That kid can ball. Oh, and then the Saints close out with the Bucks. Or no, the Saints play the Bucks in Tampa, and then they play the Falcons at home. So it really could come down to the Week 17 matchup of Bucks versus Saints.
Yeah.
Like, that could be the division title.
Yeah. Kind
of going out, that decision right there. So yeah, we're on the same page there, though. I was kind of just curious. It's a close division race. We are near the end. Close. I think we kind of can. We'll stay in the NFC real quick. AFC West is, I would say, is wrapped winner wise.
AFC West.
That's going to be Seattle, San Fran, Los Angeles.
Oh, NFC.
Yeah, San Francisco's already won the division. We know that.
You said AFC West.
Sorry, NFC. My bad. Try to stay in the NFC. NFC
West.
That's
why I was confused. Yeah. You're like, I'm saying the NFC. The AFC West is pretty much right. I was like,
San Francisco, they've already locked. But Seattle and LA are both 7-7. Both have shown signs of life the last 2 weeks. Like we've just said, the Rams are getting healthy. Seattle lost 2 weeks ago, but played a damn good football game in the loss. They won last week. They're starting to look like the Seahawks team that we talked about could be.
Gino's going to be back this week, too.
I don't know if I want Gino. I don't like Drew Lock, but Drew Lock ain't look bad.
He definitely made JSN look pretty good.
Yeah, he threw a dime on that ball, and JSN went fingertips to bring that ball in. What a way to close
let me
it out.
say that. He didn't make JSN look good. He finally... JSN finally had someone targeting him.
True.
That's more like it.
But that said, the Rams close out their season with the Saints, the Giants, And then San Francisco, who will at that point I would assume already had locked up the 1 seed, so they probably don't have to play. I'm not. If I've locked up the 1 seed, Purdy or McCaffrey's not playing because he's a guy that's got nagging injuries in his past. Debo's not playing. I'll let Brandon Ayuk play. He's a healthy guy. He always has been. Probably even let Purdy play because you get rid of the ball pretty quick. Let him push for his chance at an MVP, But like a couple of my George Kittle, guy that's seen some injuries in his career, he's not playing in that game. Trent Williams on the left tackle. You're right. I'm not starting Trent Williams. I'm not starting my starting quarterback. I lied. We're taking all those guys out. So Los Angeles should be able to go to San Francisco and win that game. They win 3 in a row. They're 10-7. They're a playoff team.
If they can do that, then they'll be the 6th seed.
Yeah, and then because Seattle runs around and plays a similar schedule. They have Tennessee. Tennessee's looked better, but I still think Seattle's the better football team. Then you go to Pittsburgh, who's a train wreck right now, and then you play the Seattle Seahawks play the Cardinals. I mean, Cardinals will be a division game. It could be hard. You assume that last game of the season they'll have everything to play for. Seattle, same situation. It could run out. You could see 3 playoff teams out of that division.
I mean, it's possible.
Just looking at how their matchups line up and all that. Obviously, then we have Cowboys-Eagles.
Well, I don't know about 3.
You don't know about 3? If Seattle wins out and LA wins out, they both go to 10-7 and they could both get in.
Well, you said. Well, so you have the division winners, so that's 4. And then the Cowboys or Eagles are getting in, so that's 5. So you're only going to get one more of those in.
The Cowboys and Eagles both win their division, or one wins their division and one gets the 5 seed. The 6 and the 7 would be Seattle and LA.
There's only 6.
There's 7.
There's 7?
There's 7. There's
1
bye.
Oh, there is 14.
There's 14. There's 1 bye. Last year was the first year of that. So this is the second year. So Seattle would be the 7 seed. The way I ran out my season mock, I have Dallas taking 1 more L. I have them beating the Dolphins this week. I have them. I guess I had them losing to the Lions. I don't know why. I meant to have them winning that game. But, so no, I don't. I have them winning out. Now that I fixed that weird problem. So I have, the Dallas Cowboys and the Eagles, I think both can win out. So the tiebreaker would go to
the Eagles.
The Eagles at the end of that. So that would put the Eagles as the 2 seed. So Seattle would play Philadelphia again, which was a good football game. So nobody would be mad at watching that happen in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That would move Detroit to the 3 seed. They would host the Rams, and then the Cowboys would go to Tampa Bay. Would you rather host Seattle because you have home field, or go to Tampa and beat Tampa, who's the worst team?
I would rather go to Tampa.
That's what I'm thinking. And for the first round, if I have to play round 1, even though I would like to host, I'd rather go and get the winnable game and then take my chances on the road round 2. Like that's just why play a better team if I don't have to.
Yeah.
So
you can take the road that your other hometown team Rangers did and be the road Rangers and just beat everyone on the road.
Yeah, I mean theoretically you could do that. So with that said, I'm going to ask you while we talk about your Cowboys and my Dolphins. This is the week of that. We've had that discussion. I might be wearing the shirt on purpose. I told you I would think we were going to lose the game. I also told you last week that y'all were going to lose to Buffalo, I thought. But now y'all are going to be pissed and come beat us because we don't have Tyreek Hill back yet, for sure. And
he's not practicing yet.
He still hasn't practiced yet. Yeah, my fantasy team's really sad about that. But I still have 318 points without him. I had a gut feeling in one league, and I slapped in Rasheed Rice instead of Stephon Diggs. Paid off brilliantly. I'm in the championship in one league, and I won this week hanging 318 because of, thank you, James Cook. Thanks for the run defense, by the way. Really helped me out.
Yeah.
I
started him too in the league.
I had Cook, Kyron Williams, Purdy, McLaurin, Jefferson, who was the lowest scorer of all of them, Rice, and St. Brown all go for over 100 yards, touchdowns.
I'm a little mad at myself. Like, I still won, so it doesn't matter. But I am mad at myself that I benched McLaurin for Garrett Wilson about an hour before the game started. I still won, so it don't matter. But I was like, there was a part of me that was going, like, I would rather have McLaurin in because I trust him a little bit more just because the offense is better. And at the last second, I was like, you know what?
Garrett Wilson's still so good.
Yeah, I was like, I've got to go with Garrett Wilson. I know that it's probably not the smartest thing, but I feel like I need to go with him. And I was like, I should have went with McLaurin, but I ended up winning by like 40 or something, so it didn't matter.
On Sunday morning when the Dolphins still hadn't decided about Hill, I was like, if they're not decided yet, he's not 100% anyway. So I'm just going to go, you know what? I trust my other guys to be able to help me out. I'm going to slap Scary Terry in on the basis that his last game before the bye was the 0 game where he saw no targets and ran track basically.
And that was why I had him in. And then I finally was like,
that was what it came down to. It was like, you know what? I'll take my chances that maybe they force feeding the rock. And then the Jacoby Brissett comes into the game and throws the bomb to him, and I was like, well, now I look good. So, no, that said though, all in all, it should be fun Saturday or Sunday. I want to win because I'll be at a house with all my family who are probably or my wife's family, or it's my house. No one at my house is Cowboy fans, so we're safe. I can scream at it all I want. The only person here is the roommate, and he'll be with his family. Hell yeah, go me. But no, best of luck to your team. I'll be the nice guy that says it that way. So that said, I'll move into the AFC now. If you'd like to go through it, let's do it. So that said, AFC East. Since we've been talking Dolphins, will stay in the division. The Buffalo Bills, after how they just played with Dallas and how they looked the week before against Kansas City, are the Bills a Super Bowl contender again?
Yes.
I think so too. I think that the late bye week for them fell out perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I think if you're Buffalo that you don't want is the scenario that I have happening. I don't think you want home playoff games. Your offense is not as good in the weather conditions of Buffalo in the cold. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they're a high-powered offense that, yes, they've been running the ball more. Joe Brady has been a saving grace to get the running game, get Cook involved more and everything else. But if you were Buffalo and if you got the 6 or the 7, you could go to Cleveland or Jacksonville, both of which are going to have better weather. Like, either one of those is going to be a better environment to play with your style of offense on the road versus a scenario where you're hosting either Cleveland or Baltimore. Like, you could either host one of those two teams possibly.
But the only way they'll get home field advantage is if they went out. And
they would only be able, if they won, they couldn't, they'd have to win out. The Dolphins would have to lose 2 of the next 3 because, and one of those would have to be to Buffalo. Then Buffalo would, because we play the Bills still.
Ooh,
yeah, the Dolphins' schedule is brutal. We play Dallas, Baltimore, and Buffalo.
Ooh.
Yeah, hardest schedule in football down the stretch.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we could go 0-3.
Oh.
That's why I said we lose to Dallas. I even put us beating Baltimore just because. I mean, I don't want to lose all three games, but if we go 1-2 down the stretch, we losing the last game of the season in Miami to Buffalo. Because the Bills own us. It's just a simple fact. Like, we have to win 2 games because the Bills, if it comes down to that, we will lose. That would drop the Dolphins down to potentially the 7 seed with the Bills getting the 4 seed. So they would be guaranteed to host 1 home playoff game.
Okay.
But in my weird scenario where the Cleveland Browns are led to a playoff division win, because the Ravens have it just as hard as the Dolphins. We'll transition to their division next. But
okay.
Like I said, the Dolphins and them, it's a 2-horse race. While we're in that division, we'll bring up the Aaron Rodgers nugget. Thank God he's not going to play. Yeah. I mean, I didn't think he was ever really going to unless they
He was, if they were going to be at least in somewhat of a playoff contention.
Yeah.
He was going to try to play. But once they lost last week, because it was reported last week that it depends if they win, then he'll try to come back. And once they lost, you knew that you were like,
it was done. Here's the question. If he comes back, say they would have won. He comes in, he plays 1 game. Better case for comeback player of the year, him or DeMar Hamlin? Because he came back this season from
DeMar Hamlin's only played like 4 snaps.
I don't think DeMar Hamlin's good anyway, but he's still the favorite. Like, I still think that you could talk about guys like Tua, who genuinely, Lamar, guys that came off of high levels of injury.
Legitimately gotten hurt and legitimately played like full term snaps. Like, those are the ones that should be getting it. Like, I understand why DeMar Hamlin would be in the running, but I'm not going to give it to someone, and I'm not going to vote for someone that hasn't started a game or played more than 100 snaps.
He has not been the effective player that he was prior to this happening. I don't know if how it has to play into it or what. But do you know who's currently sitting like 4th in the comeback player of the year voting now?
Who?
Joe Flacco. He's at like plus.
Really?
Yeah, because theoretically he came back from not playing football. So there's an argument that you can put that up there if they were to. He was able to win it out. But that said, this is why I said that I talked about the Browns being crazy and winning their division, right?
He's played 16 snaps.
Yeah, I don't disagree. He shouldn't get it, but he's going to get the award. He shouldn't be in the conversation, but he's going to win the award.
Yeah,
like they're going to give it to him because he played one game. But that said, while we're in that division, while we're in that division right now, Baltimore is 11-3, Cleveland is 9-5, Cincinnati's 8-6. Cleveland with Joe Flacco has been balling out. Like they have. Joe Flacco is starting to look like Joe Flacco that had one magical Super Bowl run. Like if he can go and play 9 games of that, like Joe Flacco's proven that you can be an average quarterback and play good for one. But that said,
he's technically played 92 snaps, so he's played 76 on special teams.
Oh, okay, so then you've got the Browns close their season out with the Texans, who might have Stroud back this week, but I haven't heard yet for sure.
Who?
Stroud, is he going to be back this week?
No, he's out.
Oh, Stroud's out. Okay, so then the Browns play the Texans. That's a win. The Browns play the Jets, who we now know for sure won't be Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, so that's a win. And then the Browns go to Cincinnati and play. Literally, there's 2 wins right there. That puts them at 11-5 going into the last week of the season. The Ravens close out with, let's see, the Ravens play San Francisco on Monday Night Football.
Oh, that's right.
The Ravens play, where did it go? The Miami Dolphins at home. And then the Ravens play, they play at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So they should win that one. But if they were to lose to San Francisco and because Cleveland owns the tiebreaker from beating Baltimore earlier this season.
Okay.
So if Cleveland or the Ravens were to lose, you have a 2-game lead on the Browns right now to the Dolphins and the 49ers.
Oh.
Even if they beat the Steelers, the Browns win the division if they win out.
Oh. Nice.
Like you want to talk about coach of the year.
Yeah.
This man has been through 4 quarterbacks, brought old man Joe off the street at 38, chunked him in there and was like, Joe, not only do I want you to manage the system, screw that, schoolyard this shit. We suck on offense. We've lost the injury list in Cleveland. It's gotten so bad on the football team that the basketball team's losing players. Did you hear about that? They lost their starting power forward and they lost Darius Garland, the starting point guard.
Oh my God.
For like weeks on end. Like the same injury bug that went from the football team is now moving over to the Cavs. So, no, it's insane that the Browns are even... Myles Garrett's been playing hurt.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane that they're still winning football games. I hope that if this magic thing happens, the Browns especially...
It'd be awesome.
The Browns are like the Lions of the AFC. They are the team that always sucks. You don't hate them because you feel bad for them. So when they finally win, you're like, oh shit, let's go! Like, so no... And the crazy fact is that I have a map that puts the Lions and the Browns as the 2 seeds. Like, you ever thought in your life that you'd have the Lions and the Browns as your 2 seeds? So, yeah, but that's how it maps out. Like, there's a legitimate path where, as good as the Ravens have played, you can't tell me that they couldn't play very good football games and lose to San Francisco on Monday night in San Fran, and then to Miami, even if it is a home game.
I mean, that's going to be a high-scoring game because, the Ravens' defense is all right, but man, it's a high-powered 49ers offense. And then the 49ers defense isn't really that good.
I think the only thing that the Ravens defense has for them is they have what I would say is the best recipe of guys that could slow McCaffrey.
Yeah. Patrick
Queen and Roquan, you don't have to kill the other one, but you can always have one watching Christian at all times.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest recipe of it is if you can minimize McCaffrey's role on the game and force Purdy to beat you with Debo, Ayuk, and Kittle. Don't get me wrong, that's still 3 damn good weapons.
Yeah.
And then you know that Jawan Jennings is going to come out of nowhere with a huge first down catch on a 3rd down. He does it every week. Dude comes out of nowhere, he's like 16 yards first down. You're like, how'd that guy even get to run a route? But that's gonna be it'll be a fun one Monday night. And then we have 3 games on Christmas Day, right?
We do.
We have Bengals Chiefs in the morning. Is that the schedule?
Let's look at it.
I think it's Bengals Chiefs and Chargers Broncos and then Packer. No, that's week 16.
Monday we have the Raiders at the Chiefs.
That's right.
At noon. The Giants and the Eagles at 3:30. And the Ravens and 49ers at 9.
See, so I'll be home before the nighttime game, so I can just sit at my house and watch a kick-ass football game on Christmas night before I go back to work next day.
And I got rid of TV, so I can actually watch that one because it's on ESPN Plus.
Ah, there you go.
So I have to watch the highlights of some of these now. Like I didn't think about that part when I canceled the TV.
Yeah,
and then I was like,
mid-football season.
I was like, oh man, now I can't watch the games. Like other than in the noon, like
your brother
other than the noon games.
That's what you need to do.
No, we don't have. He don't.
You gotta You gotta get a person. Like I have a person with this where we split. Like you get YouTube TV, you can stream it on 5 devices at once. Get you someone that you can split it with, because then you can get the sports package with Red Zone for like $85. Split the cost. And now you're each out only $42, and you can both stream at each other's houses.
That's a good point.
See, all you need is a TV partner.
Yeah.
It's like because literally when I canceled YouTube TV,
he don't pay for anything anyway.
No.
Everyone else pays for it.
Oh, that's funny.
Like I would have to pay for it so he could use it.
You call your roommate who just moved out and go, "Hey, you need TV where you're at." I missed you just enough that we could have a TV bill together. Like, all right. So that runs that through. Then we get to the West. I think the West is safe to say the Kansas City Chiefs would still win it. You believe?
Yeah.
The Broncos are technically in a similar situation where fluke occurrences happen. But the Chiefs do play the Raiders, who they should beat. They own their division. They have a home game against the Bengals, and then they have a road game against the Chargers. 2 of their last 3 are pretty easy. I think they should be.
Yeah, they'll win it.
I will say, though, if the Bengals were to beat Kansas City,
I think it's possible.
Which is very possible. The Browns and Ravens tiebreaker actually becomes for the 1 seed. And the Browns would get the 1 seed if the same scenario played out. The Cleveland Browns behind Joe Flacco. And then if the Flacco-led Browns were to knock the Ravens out of the playoffs, the poetics in that. Oh my God. The riots in Baltimore. Because you can't blame Lamar. Like, it's not like he hasn't played good. But, like, wow. The riots.
One of the things that we do need to talk about before, since we're in this, is the turnover machine that is Jalen Hurts right now.
This is true. He has been turning it over a lot.
He has been turning it, and it sucks because we talked about it so much last year with Dak, but we're not talking about it as much this year with Jalen because he scored so much on the tush push.
He does score a lot of touchdowns.
Like, on the tush push.
He's still the number 1 fantasy.
Or on the brotherly
He's the number 1 fantasy quarterback in a lot of places because he gets the 1 yard QB run. Yeah.
And that's like when you look at the rest of his stats, you're going, it's not that good. It's just you see all the touchdowns because he just gets to push in. But then you start looking at everything else, you're like, man, he shouldn't be in any kind of like MVP race. Like
no, I don't.
The stats do not back it up other than the fact that he's got touchdowns.
I think they did have a stretch of some tough football games. They've won some games. I will say I think that there's things that play into it and all, but they're definitely. I think the biggest thing that's going to help them now is that they've gotten Goddard back. I think he changes their offense.
He's been with them for 2 weeks.
Yeah, but he was out for 6.
Yeah, but he's been back for 2.
I don't know. I guess I feel like they didn't look terrible against Seattle, though. I mean, they were in the lead most of the game.
Yeah, and that one's a hard one just because, like, their schedule, the way it's set up, is I think they have a trap game. I think Arizona is a trap game for them. Just because that's their former defensive coordinator.
True.
That's coaching against them. So he's going to know everything about that defense that's already struggling.
Also very true. Yeah, because that's that Week 17 game.
Like, to me, that's the biggest question for the Eagles going into the playoffs is, are they going to beat the Cardinals? Like, the Cardinals beat us.
That's their only game. They had the Giants twice.
Yeah.
And I think they definitely have a get-right schedule.
Yes.
Like, to close out the season, whoever's calling plays, I will say the defensive coordinating change call looked out good. Like, they lost the game, but the Patricia switch significantly made their defense look better because DK Metcalf was a non-factor most of that game.
He's been a non-factor for the last couple weeks.
Well, the week before that, he had a monster, I thought. Didn't he have a monster against, 2 weeks ago? And 3 touchdowns?
I know every team has been trying to get inside his head to piss him off, and it throws him off his game.
I will say he's overrated for he's an athletic receiver. He's not a receiver. He will, once his athleticism fades, that will be the end of DK Metcalf. He cannot prolong his career like a Tyler Lockett does.
He had a big game against the Cowboys.
Yeah, because he had that huge catch the second play of the game.
Yeah, so, but before that, he had 32 against the 49ers, then the Cowboys. Then he had 52 against the 49ers, and then 78 last week against the Eagles.
Yeah, but he didn't have, at halftime, he had 1 yard. And he picked it up in the second half. Yeah. They just looked better.
All you got to do is just get in his head. And Seattle got inside A.J. Brown's head by my kinfolk, Joey Hunt, over on the sideline.
Oh,
just
the offensive
giving him that little shove.
Yeah, because they thought that he was. The Eagles fans started having an outrage, like, "Oh, you suspended our guy." That guy's a football player.
And then it comes out as Joey Hunt,
he's a player.
The center for the special practice squad, and I'm like, as soon as they came out and said it was Joey Hunt, I was like, my dude. Like, of all the people that could have been, like, family.
That's hilarious. I forgot what I was going to say. I went blank. Oh. Well, that runs us through. So we have one division left. Our last division is another one that's super tight.
That's what she said.
Yeah, hey, it's in the South, too.
Oh.
You have the AFC South with Tennessee's in last. They're currently 5-9, but looking better. I think they're looking a lot better the last couple of weeks. Then you have Houston, it's 8-6, who Stroud's gone, it's over. Too many receiver injuries, Stroud's gone. I don't think there's...
He's only got a concussion. Like, he's not gone.
He hadn't played in 3 weeks in a row, and at this point
this would be a second one.
Well, I counted he got knocked out of the other game, though.
That's not missing 3 weeks.
He missed half the game.
That's 2.5 weeks.
2.5. That half week mattered when they lost the game.
But they won last week, didn't they?
Did they win? Oh, yeah, yes. They did win last week. They did. I guess I didn't think about them winning the game last week. But
yeah, they beat the team that was wearing their jerseys.
Oh, that's right.
Tennessee came to Houston wearing the old school Oilers jerseys, and even Mike Vrabel came out with the cowboy hat just to mock them even further, and then they lost. Then they lost to Houston. Like, before that game, earlier in the year, they were talking, J.J. Watt was bringing up, whoever wins this game should get the rights to the jersey. Because they're facing each other.
Yeah.
Like, why not have that rule? And of course, Houston won, and now you're going, that's what you get for wearing those jerseys in their town.
But we've discussed this before, how the rights of this history transfers.
Yeah.
It is just as much on Houston because they didn't buy the rights to their history.
So, by the way, Houston is changing their colors next year.
Are they? I didn't know that.
They are changing their colors next year. Or they're getting a new jersey next year. They haven't released that they're changing colors, but they're getting a new uniform. The rumor is that they're not using the Oilers colors, but they're changing their dark blue to a powder blue that's close to that color. They can't use that color. It's not theirs anymore.
Because they have to go. They're going to tactile
so
it.
Oh my God! Just a little bit, make it just a little bit darker, so that they could use those colors again, without
infringing
on those colors.
Why not just buy the history? Just buy the history.
They won't sell it to them.
Now they won't. at this point. They would have when they first moved. Oh, they didn't win it then?
No, that was the whole thing.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he was like, "Fuck y'all, I'm taking it with me."
Wow.
Like, you're not getting it.
That's
like,
hilarious.
They made him mad enough to where he was like, "No, y'all ain't getting it." And then after he died, the family was like, "No, it's our history now.
It's ours now." Okay, that's awesome.
So yeah, it's like Houston can't get it unless someone in that family just decides
they
one day
play each other
to give it
again.
up.
They still have one more because the Texans close out their season with the Browns, the Titans,
and they'll have C.J. Stroud back for that game,
and the Colts.
Ooh, C.J. Stroud against them. Oh, we're gonna tear them up.
Yeah, they have that, and so if they were to win out, or say they lose to the Browns this week without Stroud, and they get Stroud back, say they win the last 2 games, that if they win the last 2 games, they could be the 7th seed. Looking at it, the Colts could be the 6th seed if they beat the Texans. I mean, a lot of variation because the Colts hold a tiebreaker over the Dolphins. So they would get to bump up a little because of strength of schedules. I don't know. You know how all that mess gets into play.
That's a long.
But then you have to look at
stuff.
Indianapolis closes out their season because they're all the same record. Everyone's 8-6 because Jacksonville having the struggles with injuries and everything. So you've got the Colts close out with the Falcons in Atlanta, the Raiders at home, and then the Texans. So there's 2 wins right there. The Colts should be able to get to 2-0 going into the Texans game. And then the Jaguars don't touch any of those teams because they play Tampa Bay in Tampa. Then they play Carolina. And then they play Tennessee. So they should be able to go 3-0 down the stretch to win the division.
I don't know. Tampa's good, though.
Tampa is good. And Tampa needs the win. So this weekend's game could be a very big game.
Tough.
Because if you look at it, if that one goes Tampa gets to 10 wins.
Jacksonville's got a bad cornerback.
Hey, and if that happens,
Mike Evans probably going to go crazy.
Even if Jacksonville was to win their next 2 games after losing, if they were to lose to the Bucs, based off how I ran it through, it actually shoots the Broncos into the 7, gives the division to the Colts, and neither the Texans or the Jags get in.
Wow.
Because of how tiebreakers play. It puts the wild card team of, that's saying that the Colts beat the Texans on week 18. If the Texans win, then the Texans would get the 7 seed and the Jags would win the division. Like, it changes everything. And the
crazy.
Bills jump all the way to the 2 seed. Which means
crazy.
now they're hosting multiple home games like we talked about being a problem. There's so many wild scenarios that are going to play out. So, but yeah, that said, you want to slide into a couple other quick nuggets of other sports? I know we said we'd have There was one big thing that happened yesterday in the NBA. John Morant came back.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that, yeah.
He balled. He did not disappoint. They were down by like 28. He brought them all the way back and then hit a buzzer beater to win the game. I mean, look, there's no doubting that the kid's good. Like, the kid can ball. Just keep your head on straight, kid, because you're the reason why there's a lottery in the NBA. Guys like you it takes one guy in the NBA and you can turn your entire franchise around by 30 wins. Well, like, you just can't. And I wouldn't be shocked if we start seeing Jaron Jackson start playing better and some of the other guys on that team start to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
But is it too late? Because they're sitting at 8 and like 14 or 17 or 18 right now. Like, they're well back.
I mean,
early in the season, but they're pretty far back.
Still early. I mean, that is a pretty good distance to climb, especially considering that is 13th.
Yeah, you're 13.
I mean,
you're 13 and a half back.
You're 7 back from the 10 seed.
Yeah, so get into the play-in tournament. So, and you've got it. The only team I would say that you really have to jump on that list is probably Golden State, which even that I think you have the youth to get past Golden State, so you can jump that hurdle. The Rockets, I don't think the Rockets will last, so you have an opening there possibly also. Zion will inevitably get hurt, so that'll kill the Pelicans season. So someone could slide in right there.
Yeah. I
mean, I'm just looking at those. You got to factor in those things. You still have some fun with Minnesota is continuing to prove that they're the best team in the NBA right now. They are knocking down opponents left and right. Oklahoma's holding strong at 2. Denver's looking good at 3. You know that Minnesota, Oklahoma, and Denver all in the same division.
Are they really?
They're all in the same division, and they're the 1, 2, and 3.
Jesus.
Yeah. So you want to talk about best divisions in sports? Throw out the Northwest or the Northeast Division or something. I can't remember what the division's called.
Let's see. Let's look.
Here it is. Division. It is the Northwest. Timberwolves, Thunder, Nuggets. Then it's the Jazz and the Blazers.
Man.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to play the ridiculously challenging divisional rivals of yours.
I mean, hey, but you know what's great? Right now, the Mavericks, the Cowboys, and the Dallas Stars.
All in first.
All in first in their division.
This is true. I think the Stars did just have a pretty big injury.
No, don't be saying that.
I want to say I saw some. I don't know. I don't pay attention, but I walked by a sign that said something about a Stars player. Maybe I have it wrong, but I mean they played well. The Stars are first in the Western Conference right now. They're not just first in their division. They're
the Western Conference.
They're tied for first with the Colorado Avalanche in the West right now, I believe. Make sure I read it right. No. Okay, no. They are fourth in the conference. They're behind the Kings, the Canucks, and the Knights. But the Kings have also only played 28 games. The Knights and the Canucks have played 33 games. The Stars have played 30. So they've actually played 3 less games than 2 of the teams ahead of them. So that'll help their standings and stuff. Yeah. Who's hurt?
Jake Ottinger.
Oh, that's a big deal. That's the goalie.
Yeah.
I thought it was Ottinger, but I didn't want to say his name wrong and false report. Something here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, and the New York Rangers are in first in hockey on the Eastern Conference side of things. Just to throw it out there.
Considered week to week.
What does that even mean? Week to week.
Lower body is considered week to week.
All right. Well.
It said that Ottinger's test results revealed that the 25-year-old isn't expected to be dealing with a long-term injury. Still, it's a tough situation for the Stars. Managers have him unavailable for the next little while. Scott Wedgwood, who should see the bulk in his absence, will be backed up by Matt Murray. So they don't even say what it is.
I know they called up some guy from the minor league Stars. Didn't even know there was a minor league Stars, but they called the guy up.
So that's probably Matt Murray.
Well, I don't know. You assume there's a backup goalie on the bench, and Matt Murray's like the new backup, or the guy they called up would be the new backup. I don't know.
Well,
it's hockey. We don't pretend like we know.
No, Scott Wedgwood is starting. Matt Murray is the new backup.
Okay, so then that's the guy.
Yeah, that's why I was.
Got it right. My bad. So
listen.
I got you. My bad. But yeah, those are our NHL standings, NBA standings. Like we said, those have been kind of run through, but it's been a fun season. I've kept an eye on some certain things and all that stuff.
What certain things have you kept an eye on?
My Oklahoma City Thunder keep winning. My Rookie of the Year candidate. Like, honestly, I need the stuff with Giddey to get figured out. And hopefully it's all figured out in the way that I want it to be figured out, because he's not playing good right now. And it would be, in all honesty, it'd probably been in the favor of the Thunder if you did make him sit out, because he's clearly split in 2 places. But I mean, I respect that the league is letting due process happen. Mm-hmm. Like, thank you. We don't need enough of that anymore. Just like I was happy that Disney, I know we kind of pivot back there.
Yeah.
Disney gave Jonathan Majors due process. Yeah, they released content with him going through this. So whether it's right or wrong what he did, he came out guilty in that case. Thank you for at least giving him the opportunity to be proven innocent.
Yep.
We don't get enough of that.
Yeah, they learned their lesson with Johnny Depp.
True.
And
because that ruined a franchise for them.
Yeah, they were like, we're just going to, we got to let this play out. Like, let it play.
Yes. And so
once we find out for sure, then we'll react. Because the last time we did this, we reacted too fast, and then he ended up being innocent.
Yeah. And so that's it's good to see that. The other NBA nugget would be that even though he's not in the NBA, he's in the G League, the NBA has extended the invite to Mac McClung to defend his title. Sure, I'm going to be honest, that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, you have to. He's
if anything, as an NBA player, I'm offended that he won. Like, that's my competitive nature. Like, the competitor in me's going, motherfucker, he's not even good enough to play in my league. Like,
he won the NBA contest.
And he won one of our contests. Like, we need to go and beat that guy. Like, that would be a competition thing for me. Maybe I'm crazy, but I don't know. We're not going to see. It's not going to change anything. You're not going to see any big names. No. It would be great, though. This would be the year if you're John Morant. If you needed to, like, when you need image cleanup stuff, like, this is the year to do it. Just come out and go do the dunk contest.
He should.
It would be great. Like, he needs
should.
to do something in a positive light. Like, if I'm the NBA, I would start using suspensions, these kind of things. Like, Ja, you screwed up 25 games. And we'll make it 40 games, but 25 if you do the dunk contest, which you get paid for to win. Like, why not? You're going to do the dunk contest. And then, when you drop the NBA dunk contest list, you go, oh, defending champ Mac McClung, and the guy taking him on, John Morant. We're all going to lose our shit. Like, everyone's going to watch.
Oh,
because John Morant's dunking. But yeah, we know what that dude can do. So, yeah. I'm now petitioning that Adam Silver, as good of a commissioner as you are, start using your bonus stuff as punishment to help our fans. MLB should do that too. Hey, you got suspended for 10 games earlier this season. You have to hit in the home run derby. Screw it, because the home run derby doesn't get the top of the guys every time. Like, things like that.
No, because it messes up their swing, so they stop doing it.
Shit happens. That's not true. The top guys are still good hitters can still hit in a home run derby.
No, because there's a difference between trying to hit bombs every time. Because I forgot who it was.
Joey Gallo has a bomb swing every time.
That's why he's
good at it.
Yeah, I think King Griffey Jr. talked about it. He said that at least a month after the home run derby, or he struggles at least a month after the home run derby because you're so focused on all you're trying to do is hit home runs, and it's a different type of swing that it kind of affects your batting for a while until it gets. It might not have been King Griffey Jr. It was somebody that talked about it.
I've never been one who hit consistent home runs, so for me, derbies don't actually affect my swing. All I do when I'm swinging in a home run derby is I care less about swinging and missing. I focus more on swinging hard. Like, every swing I hit is going to be solid contact. So, like, a lot of home run derbies I've done, I'll hit, like, 6 home runs or 6 line drives off the fence because I just catch the ball square and I'm just hitting line drives. And then, so I'm not the guy that hits moonshots, whereas we had a guy, you'll know this name, Sky Whittle.
Is he still playing?
No, he didn't play anymore. But back when he would hit, everything Sky hit used to go 400 feet this way, and then it would just drop. Like, all of them. And so when he mishit one, he had that leg kick up to his titty, and so when he mishit one, it would pop up to the pitcher. Like, he would hit him that high. But the pitcher didn't want to catch it, because they're like, no, that's going to, no, oh shit, that's mine. That's that high. So, I get it. I don't know. NBA would make some fun with it, though, if we got guys doing that.
I was never one of those guys. I was a little dookie shot. That was just my hit.
No, I just swing hard now. I keep the bat here. I keep my eye on where I want to go with it, and then I'm patient, and I just swing hard at it and try to hit a line drive every time. The other day, I did have a little fun. It was a little chilly outside, and we went with my buddies. My buddy's daughter had a ragdoll tournament at her school, and it was slow pitch. And so they were like, "Hey, Dad, can you and Bucky take us to go hit?" And we were like, "Yeah, we'll go hit. Like, we go hit all the time. We're getting ready for Worlds next year, everything else." So we got to hit. She brings her little boyfriend with her. He's a senior in high school. He's on the baseball team. We let her and him hit first. She hits. I'm in the outfield shagging up balls. He hits, and he's a little feller. He's like, I don't know, 5'6", 5'5". Like, he's a small kid. Small, not real, skinnier kid. A little bit of muscle to him, but probably a second baseman build, in my opinion. I don't know. I didn't ask what position he plays. He's hitting them. He hit a couple off the fence. He hits 2 out. He's kind of puffing his chest. He's excited. So then my buddy's hit. The boyfriend's dad goes first. My buddy Joe, he hits 1 out on his first swing. He doesn't hit another 1 out. And I was like, "Don't worry, Joe. I got you for the old guys." And I said, "Are you all right, kid? You ready?" I parked like 11. And I'm just like, "What's wrong, kid?" And I kept my coveralls on because it was still cold outside. So, like, I'm sitting here in, like, coveralls and a hoodie just cranking home runs. And this kid's just like, "Yeah, I've been playing softball a while."
But Speaking of, thanks for watching, Chubb.
Chubbs?
Yeah.
Chubbs watches?
Yes, he does.
What?
I ran into him over by where I live. I was walking my dog.
Yeah.
And I ran into him over there. He was going to pick something up. Forgot what he said. But, yeah, he was talking about how him and his wife watch the show.
That's amazing. So, he's literally one of my 5 favorite people in slow pitch softball.
Chubbs is awesome.
Always a good dude. Great conversation. Love you, Chubbs, if you see this. Now we're going to have to, like, text him and be like, in, like, 3 weeks, and be like, "Hey, did you catch the episode on the day before Christmas?" Might need to. But That said, we kind of said it would be a short week. You got anything?
Let's see where we at. Well, I think we're
over an hour. Have we got some extra time?
Yeah, just NCAA football. You got signing day today, so Dylan Raiola 100% is with Nebraska.
Yeah, we'll see.
for this year.
For this year.
He'll probably take off next year back to Georgia once Carson
Beck
leaves,
gone. And then he's the starting quarterback. So,
that's pretty much all it's going to be. But he's also a legacy. So his dad was from Nebraska.
Okay.
Nebraska.
That makes it easier to be his training school.
Yeah. Which we talked about before the show. Their Texas Tech got a 5-star receiver.
They did. Coming off their bowl win this weekend, beat Cal 34-16.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then we looked it up and come to find out he's a legacy. His dad went there from 85 to 89.
First 5-star recruit Texas Tech's ever recruited off the top 300 list of ESPN or whatever.
That's pretty significant. And then we have the games coming up this weekend.
Yeah, we don't. I'm looking. We haven't had any of the really decent ones.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night we start taking off the better matchups. Little South Florida versus Syracuse. We did have an overtime game between Old Dominion and Western Kentucky. The Hilltoppers, great mascot. If you've never seen the Hilltopper, it's a good one. If you've never seen it, you should look up the Western Kentucky Hilltopper. It's a weird one. But then you got Georgia Tech, UCF, Saturday. I love how they did the smart thing and put no games on Sunday or Monday. They were just like, those are the NFL's days.
Yeah.
But
they know.
You get to see Duke play, which doesn't matter because all their good players are leaving and their coach left, so they're not good anymore. So Troy is probably going to win that game. Let's see.
Troy actually also has the sack leader on their team.
Is that really?
Yeah.
Oh, see, then...
He's got the most sacks in all of college football.
Well, there you go. And then Utah plays. Utah's a decent little program. They got Northwestern. That's a decent game. Then you go to, I'm just trying to look. There's Kansas UNLV, maybe.
Running Rebels. Let's go, Running Rebels.
Hey, you know what? Tuesday, the 26th, we've got Texas State at Rice at the SMU Stadium. Tickets are going for $12 right now. So if you ain't got nothing to do next Tuesday, you can go to a college football game, catch a little D1 action.
Heck yeah.
Let's see. You got the 27th. Oh, the unranked USC plays Louisville. I don't even know who's playing for USC at this point. Louisville should curb stomp them. A&M and Oklahoma, which we call the Make-A-Wish version of the Red River rivalry.
Yeah. Make-A-Wish Red River rivalry.
North Carolina, I'm assuming Drake May's sitting out. Have we heard?
I'm assuming so because it's not a big bowl game.
Yeah, I mean they're playing West Virginia in Charlotte, so it's actually basically a home game for him. It's the Duke Mayo Bowl. Let's see, SMU BC at Fenway Park. That'd be cool. I'd like to go to Fenway Park to watch a football game. Wouldn't that be like cheating the system of going to Fenway Park? And that's the same day you have Yankee Stadium hosting the Rutgers Scarlet Knights and the University of Miami.
He's not playing.
He's not playing for sure. Okay. Well, the thing is, like I said, I was telling you earlier, Bo Nix is playing, which stuns me.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Very, very.
I just
strange.
I don't get that one. But NC State. So our first actual decent ranked matchup we run into is K-State NC State, which will be next Thursday. So we'll be able to talk about it a little bit as we lead into next Thursday's game.
Sure will.
Because you'll have Arizona and Oklahoma also play next Thursday on the 28th. So that'll be a couple of decent ball games. I don't know who's gonna play quarterback for Oklahoma. Gabriel's leaving.
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know who's. You don't know half of who's playing what. Betting college playoff games are a crapshoot.
Yeah, in my honest opinion, nobody should be able to transfer until
agreed.
The bowl games are over with.
I had someone say though the other day why the portal's when it is because I didn't ever think about this. Because I want to say it was one of the NFL people or on one of the NFL Network shows talking about it was why do we let them transfer before the bowl games? We should make them play out their bowl games, and then they can be able to transfer because some of these rosters are count. It's because of the enrollment period. They have to be able to transfer in time to enroll into classes at the new university. And so that they can instantly hit their automatic eligibility for the next school year, they need to be enrolled at the new school in January for classes so that they can do spring football and play at the new school the next year.
That makes sense.
And so that's the reason why there's such bad timing of when the transfer portal happens.
Because it's the end of the school year, end of the year, Like, these are all
The season ends at the same time that we finish the fall semester.
Yeah.
And then they have to get into, like, because I thought that too. I always thought it's fucking stupid. Like,
yeah, that makes sense.
Why are we doing that? And then you remember, oh wait, there's students.
There's also school.
There is school involved. So yeah, so that plays into
All right.
what's going on there. But yeah, once we get to after we talk on our show next Wednesday, we'll really get to dive into some good ones. Like we said, at least based off opponents, you have NC State, K-State, Arizona, Oklahoma, Clemson, Kentucky, Oregon State, Notre Dame, Missouri, Ohio State. On next Saturday is the one that we all know the college football committee's watching. Georgia versus Florida State. They are begging for Georgia to just curb stomp Florida State.
Absolutely, just
because if they do it,
them.
they are justified in their actions. If Florida State wins, even if it's an ugly game and close, if Florida State wins, we're going to hear co-national champions. They're going to be like USC or UCF and give themselves a fake title.
Yeah. Just like the Lakers did, or not. They didn't give them a fake title, but how about that banner?
Right. Here's your question. If Oregon beats Liberty, like just beats the crap out of them, which they should.
Yeah.
Washington wins the national title, hypothetically here. Is Oregon the second best team in the country? Because they've only lost 2 games. They're both by 3 to Washington. So at the end of the season, when they're doing college football rankings, if Washington was to win by, say, 4 and 5. It
doesn't work that way, but yeah.
I mean, if you can't say it doesn't work that way, if one of the tiebreakers for getting into the playoffs is common opponents.
Okay.
So if that's one of your common opponents things, then you can't say that Oregon's not one of the 3 best teams in the nation, depending on the final score of how Washington wins the championship game.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
Like,
yeah, I guess
it's just a crazy, like, hey, have a little fun with it here, because that's going to affect how you go into next season. Because in all honesty, they might have gotten better at quarterback by getting Dylan Gabriel over Bo Nix next year.
Yeah.
So
apparently they're basically like very similar in style. So
yeah,
like that's what worked for him in Oklahoma was the same type of offense that Bo Nix was running in Oregon.
Yeah.
So they're just basically just going to change the face and run the same offense.
And we've still got tons of guys that haven't even gone to schools yet. Like Cam Ward hasn't declared.
I know, that's crazy.
DJ AU hasn't picked a school yet. Like
I'm out on him. Apparently he's just Riley Leonard has.
Did Riley Leonard pick one?
So let me look at this real quick. We got
LSU gets Wisconsin.
Riley Leonard is headed to Notre Dame.
Okay.
Kyle McCord, Syracuse, where we thought he was going to Nebraska.
Yeah.
Also, he decided, I guess, once he heard that Raiola was going there, I think he was like, all right.
Well, did you hear the other rumor about what happened at Syracuse apparently with another recruit? It wasn't Colin McCord, or it wasn't Kyle McCord, but there was another recruit that came there, and he was kind of juggling his options and all this stuff. And the University of Syracuse hired a private chef, put on a huge promo board in the middle of the Orange Dome where they play their basketball games and football games and all that, the Carrier Dome, excuse me. They set him up with a private chef and made him his own meal and showed this jumbo of what the season would look like and stuff. And the dude was like, they cooked for me in the stadium, I'm in. And he turned down money at other schools to go to Syracuse.
Dang.
It was like this hilarious pitch video.
Dude, food.
Yeah.
Food.
You bring in the right chef and I'm going to go to school. I mean, I'm just saying, if I'm sitting there talking about it and you walked in and was like, hey, this is, I don't know, insert celebrity chef. Like any of them people that cook, Guy Fieri, any of them that cook on any of the contest cooking shows on Food Network, like I'd be like, yeah.
Can I have this all year?
Yeah, like that's the show you gotta watch.
Another one, Will Rogers, Mississippi State. He transferred to Washington, so he's going to be the quarterback there next year. Dante Moore, he's also at Oregon, so that's going to be interesting actually. With Dante Moore, who was the number 2 quarterback in the portal, and then the number 3 quarterback in the portal was Dylan Gabriel, and both of them are at Oregon.
I guess we're all just assuming Dylan Gabriel had it, not even really talking about.
Well, I feel like he's going to start, and then maybe they're going to redshirt Dante Moore.
Okay.
That way...
I want to say they have Achilles Smith's son going there next year.
Yes, because you brought it up a while back.
Because he was a legacy.
Yep.
Because he's going to be going there too. So they're going to have... It's so weird though, because now like the undergraduate if you're an undergraduate football player, you should go play at insert small school, ball out as a freshman, and then transfer to the big school when the job opens. Like, that's what it is now because they let you do it.
And then the final one, Aiden Chili's. I'm not 100% sure that's how. Chills. He was Oregon State's quarterback. He transferred to Michigan State.
Why would an Oregon State quarterback transfer when the guy that was starting transferred?
Because they brought in. No, they didn't. They didn't bring in money. I don't know. Maybe he was like, man, this team sucks. I'm gonna go somewhere else.
I mean, maybe.
So those are the big ones. Like you said, Cam Ward hasn't done anything yet. And apparently, he was going to go to Ohio State, but something happened, and he decided he wasn't going to do it.
Interesting.
So you got that one. Then you got, like you said, DJU. Tyler Van Dyke is still out there, and then Grayson McCall is still out there. So those are still some of the quarterbacks that haven't decided on a team, and they could also possibly decide not to transfer. Like, they can cancel it.
Yeah, but that's if the school hasn't filled your spot.
Yeah,
because that was why we said when all those kids,
if you're South Carolina, you're going, you come back.
Yeah, they'll take you back. But like, that was one of the things is that when 1,000 kids went into the portal, 300 or 400 of them are never going to play at the same level or at as good of a school as they were leaving because of this stuff. So it's going to open up. Washington State, yeah, they'll definitely take him back. That said, we were talking about celebrity chefs. Have you ever watched TOC, Tournament of Champions?
No.
Okay, so do you do cooking shows at all? I know this is totally off the road.
Yeah.
You need to go.
I mainly just watch Ramsey.
Okay. You got to go and watch. Go to the Food Network, however you can get a hold of it. I want to say it's through Discovery or whatever it is. And watch Tournament of Champions. It is... They take the best cooks off of the Food Network, like off their different networks, and people that Guy has done his show with. Guy hosts it. They bring him. They bring two of their food connoisseurs, like their food study guys, and have them come in. And then they pick two chefs. And the two chefs walk up to this big wheel, and the wheel has time, style, kitchen equipment you have to use, and style of food. Like, there's 4 options on it. Or, protein. They spin the wheel. And then he says, go. And whatever the things that come up on that menu are, whether it's 20 minutes or 50 minutes, whether it's brisket or hog leg, you have to use that and make a recipe with no time to plan. It's just ready, set, go. It is fan-freaking-tastic. It comes on around the same time as the NCAA tournament because they do it as a bracket.
Oh, okay.
They seed these people, and so like you'll have your 1 seeds or people that have won major Food Network or other competitions before. People like what was her name? There's the one chick whose name I can't. Oh, Alex Gorgashelli, who's been on the Food Network. She was an Iron Chef. Like, she's been around. She's like one of their top ones. Like, most people look up to her. She ends up becoming a judge after like the first season. Like, she's that good of a chef. She doesn't win it. Spoiler alert for you, but but no, it's.
Dang it! Now I can't watch it.
If you do get into if you like to take competition, which we like obviously as sports fans, and you do like cooking shows, take a second, sit down, start with season 1. Like, there's 3 seasons or 4 seasons now.
What?
And watch them go down because the creativity of some of these people and the little bits of time is
that
amazing.
kind of stuff. I, to be honest, I don't know how much I'll get into it. I like watching this stuff where I can learn things, and so, like, to me, if it's doing that, that's more of a pros doing things where you're
true. And I think that's where this makes it a little fun for me is because they have these guys. Their name's Justin Warner's one of them. He's like a food scientist essentially. Like, he studies it and he does all that. He's also a cook. He literally walks up to the chef with a notebook. And it's his job to present the meal because all the taste testings are done blind. So that the judges don't know who they're cooking for to balance the scales. That way a 1 seed and an 8 seed don't get the advantage of big name versus smaller name.
Right, oh, okay.
And so that's also a super cool element. But like, they walk up and they're asking about it. And then when they bring in a new ingredient, he'll say, oh, like, I don't know, insert weird vegetable. Oh, this is a vegetable from this family. Like, he'll take a second to tell you about the vegetable. When they introduce the food, like the instrument you have to use in the kitchen is entertaining because you'll get stuff like, hey, you have to use the waffle maker. Like, find a way to use the waffle maker. And these judges are looking for waffle marks somewhere in there to know that you did it. Don't tell me you use the waffle maker to heat the bread up. I want to know you use the waffle maker. And so they take a second, though, and they explain to you what the normal usage of that cooking item is. And so, like, I've learned so much in the kitchen watching food, like, competitions and like this because they do... Like, Guy does that a lot really well. Guy Fieri's really good about explaining what's going on in the kitchen when he's talking to the cook in the kitchen. So, maybe it's just because Guy Fieri's so good at it that I keep up with it.
Yeah.
But he is super good at that. But it's hilarious because him and the other big name of the Food Network despise each other. Bobby Flay?
Oh, Bobby Flay.
Bobby Flay absolutely hates Guy Fieri. And Guy Fieri's like, I really don't care. I make $125 million off Food Network. So
other than Gordon Ramsay, he's one of the most well-known.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, just say his name and you know who the hell he is.
And he's literally like, and Guy's one of the cool dudes. Like he's one of the people that has made cooking cool. Like we watch Gordon Ramsay makes cooking like famous. Like you want to talk about cooking, but he scares you from wanting to do cooking because he comes off as intense in the shows, and you're like, this is how serious cooking can be.
You know what's crazy? A lot of the people...
They say it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's cool shit.
They'll talk about a lot of it is just for TV. It's to play that way. Like, you have to... Like, you're also teaching, so you have to do it, but at the same time, he's also, legitimately nice.
Watch him do the kids contest.
Oh, I know.
He's amazing. He's so good with kids. And then they had one where an 18-year-old... Did you ever see this one? There's an 18-year-old kid on MasterChef or whatever the chef show that he hosts.
Yeah, and she's from it.
No, not that. This kid is on the MasterChef, and the kid was really good, but he was so raw, and he was so young. And he kicked the kid out, but he said, before I kick you out with all these other people in the room, he had paid for the whole thing. He was like, you're going to culinary school, and then when you get out, you're coming to work for me, and you're going to learn the right way, because you, kid, are going to be special someday. So no, that's that other one,
and then
Max
of course
D'Amelia show or whatever on YouTube, Facebook. He was on the Max.
Oh yeah. But this girl, actually, I think she won last year. I forgot, but she was. Yeah, I think she won last year. She was actually on an earlier seasons of MasterChef Junior. And then once she got of age, she went on to MasterChef, and I think last year she won it.
Interesting.
Yeah, so she's an Asian girl. I mean, she's American, but she's got Asian descent. I think that's what it is. But like it's cool watching it, especially now that you have someone that came from that.
Yeah. And
went into MasterChef from that, cool. And then she won. And you're like, they knew. I went to
high school with a chick that did the Halloween cupcake competition that they do. Not this year, but last year. She was one of the top bakers that qualified for their Halloween special edition one. Yeah, I can't remember her name.
I'll tell you what, they just had a real quick, like, it was 5 or 6 episodes, but they did it in 2 days. It was MasterChef Junior Home for the Holidays. And it was basically 6. You know what? I think it was only 4 episodes. So it was 6 contestants. The first day they cut out 3. And then, it was 9. They cut out 3. And then the next episode they cut out 3. And then the last 2 episodes were cutting down to the final 2. Or it was the final 2, cutting down to the 2. And then the final one was the 2.
There you go. That's pretty
And it was like quick. And I was just like, Jesus.
Yeah,
they did some dumb stuff though. I didn't like it.
Some of the dessert, I enjoy watching and that's from, my mom is a baker. Well, she was before she hurt her hands, but like I still enjoy watching people cook with food more than I love watching people decorate a cake and do all that. Like it's fun. The creativity is wild. Yeah. There's that guy on Facebook that does chocolates. You seen that dude that makes chocolate sculptures?
Yes.
Oh my God, that dude's amazing. But
yeah, and by the way, the guy you were talking about, Max the Meat Guy.
Yeah, that one. He's really cool. But no, they're like, those are all fun, but no, watching people just take the craziness that they think on their feet. Like, I go digging through my pantry for like an hour before I decide what I'm going to make for dinner some nights, and they're like, I have 30 seconds to look and take, what can I do with this asparagus, pork, and these seasonings? Okay, I'm going to make this high quality, elegant looking dish, and I'm like, we're going to roast the pork chop.
I'm up at Kroger going, you know what, I haven't made this. I'm going to use that, a dragon fruit. I've never made anything with a dragon fruit. Or what was it was a spiked melon. So I bought a spiked melon, and I was like, I don't even know what it tastes like. I don't know what to do with this. So I just randomly bought it. I was like, I'll figure something out. I looked it up. I made a dipping sauce for steak.
Well, there you go.
It looked like boogers, but it tasted good.
That's just crazy. Steak sauces. Have you ever seen that one for cowboy butter? I haven't done it yet, but I really want to. There's a recipe for like a cowboy butter is what it's called. Apparently it's just like it's supposed to be really good on a steak. I've seen it up. I'll find it and shoot it over to you.
Interesting.
But that said, I don't have anything.
That's it.
Yeah, that's about it. So then we'll wrap it up. Everybody have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and we'll catch y'all next week.